Yes guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. It's the Weekly United. We're back yet again. Every single week we'll be having a look back in the crazy, wild world of Manchester United. Yes, we'll be looking back at the last 7 days, looking at all the news, the rumours, the headlines, the quotes, the gossip, all that good stuff. And in today's episode, at the end of this episode, I've got a special warning for my fellow Manchester United fans, my brothers and sisters of Manchester United. I have got a special warning for you that might save you some stress. So keep it locked to the end of this show and we'll get you in touch with that. But right now we're going to get stuck into the world of Man United. And of course, in the world of Man United, we have plenty of transfer rumours and things like that. We always have these transfer rumours and we're getting more this week. Jack Grealish has of course popped up and Jack Grealish hasn't popped up for the right reasons this week. On Weekly United, we've been talking about Jack Grealish a lot. I've been talking about how much I want him at Manchester United. You guys have been saying how much you want him or you would like him to sign, or if some of you may not want him to, but the general consensus amongst Manchester United fans is they wouldn't mind seeing Jack Grealish at Manchester United. But this week, he broke government curfew guidelines kind of thing. And, you know, the self-isolation period that everyone's going through, the lockdown that we are on. He broke that, funnily enough, immediately after recording a video to tell others to stay at home, save lives and help the NHS. But nevertheless, he broke those guidelines, went out, attended a party, had a car accident on the way. When the initial reports came through, I was thinking, oh my God, Jack Grealish, you've not been drinking, have you? Please say it ain't so. And the West Midlands police have done an investigation and he won't face any further police action. So that's good news. It was a simple car accident, but when he shouldn't have been out. Now, Aston Villa have fined him £150,000 for that indiscretion and for that misbehaving. Now, it's not as bad as some of his incidences in the past, of course it isn't. But at a time when United are trying to change the culture at the club, they will be keeping an eye on this. Now, the first reports were coming through that United are keeping an eye on it. And then a second wave of reports came through saying United was still going to push ahead and try and sign this player. Now, I don't know what happens with Jack Grealish, especially with the future of Paul Pogba still undecided and it looking possible that he could stay at Manchester United. But Jack Grealish coming to United, I would be all for that. And I still haven't changed my mind because of this. But I'm sure the club will be monitoring things as things progresses. Talking about Paul Pogba. Now, Paul Pogba has been linked with a move back to Juventus this week in a possible swap deal with Matthijs de Ligt. But that's all I'm going to say about it because, in my opinion, this is bullshit. You know, Matthijs de Ligt signed for Juventus not long ago. United were in for him, just like we were in for Erling Haaland. And now already everyone's gone into lockdown and there's rumours linking us with de Ligt and Haaland already. They've been at their clubs for months, not even years, and we're already being linked with them. It's a mad one. But with Juventus' situation, it's because of their financial issues surrounding this pandemic and the outbreak, which is halting football and, you know, affecting the way they can bring in money. So Italian clubs and Spanish clubs will be affected by it. But does that mean we're going to get Matthijs de Ligt? Does that mean we're going to swap Paul Pogba for Matthijs de Ligt? I think it'd be a real daft swap deal if we did swap Paul Pogba for Matthijs de Ligt, to be honest. As much as I would like him at the club, I just don't think it makes sense. And I definitely don't think this one will be happening. Something that happens too often than we'd rather see, too often than not, is Graeme Souness talking about Paul Pogba. And this silly old fella needs to keep Paul Pogba's name out of his mouth. It's all he does these days to stay relevant. Talk about Paul Pogba, be bitter on television. And now he can't do it on television week in, week out when Paul Pogba's not even playing. He's taking to the newspapers to get his stupid opinions across. And he's saying Paul Pogba would be an absolute doddle to play against. Not too sure about that one, Graeme. Graeme, you did some good things. You won some trophies and all that. But you were a clogger. Let's be real. Paul Pogba's got more talent in his little toe than you ever did. You know what I mean? So, come on. And a doddle, even if, you know, you consider Graeme Souness to be great or whatever, which is fair enough. But a doddle to play against Paul Pogba, who's currently and has been over the last few years one of the best midfielders in the world. Not too sure about that one. Just keep his name out of your mouth. Stop it. Stop it. You bitter old Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been speaking this week, and he was talking initially about how he's always prepared for, the recall of football and the restart of football, and football coming back into the swing of things now. Originally heard that players will be returning to training around April the 10th, with a view to the football returning on April the 30th. But now the season's been extended indefinitely. We don't know when the football is going to return. The return date for training may actually be delayed as well. And Solskjaer is having to be always ready. Of course he's going to have to be ready. He's going to have to be on his toes, and he's going to have to adapt to the situation. But also this week when he was talking about how footballers should act as role models and calls the NHS real heroes, which I know it goes without saying, but it's bang on. Do you know what I mean? I don't think footballers should be regarded as role models. It'd be great because of the position that they're in, and the amount of eyes that they have on them, and the amount of kids that they look up to them, if they did all behave greatly. But ultimately they're all human beings, you know what I mean, that have just been thrust into the spotlight because they're good at a sport. So not all of them are going to be good role models, but the NHS are obviously real heroes. Talking about a hero and a role model though, Marcus Rashford, what an absolute diamond geezer. He's an amazing human being. Not only a fantastic footballer, and the guy, he's got the world at his feet at Manchester United. I believe he'll be in and around breaking Wayne Rooney's record. I believe eventually he'll help push us to a league trophy whenever that may be. But he's also a great human being off the pitch, and whilst he's been injured, he's been focusing on doing great things for those people that need it more than he does. Nowadays he's raising money and raising funds and helping fundraisers for vulnerable children around the UK who may now be missing out on meals because they're not going to school. He also around Christmas was doing the shoebox campaign and raising money and raising equipment and necessities for the homeless people of Manchester. And I just think, yes, it's easy for him with all his wealth. It's easy for him to do, but he doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to use his platform for good. He doesn't have to raise all that money. He doesn't have to take his time doing that. He could spend it doing other things. And you know what? That'd be fine too. You don't have to do charitable causes. You don't have to go out your way. In this day and age, the rich and the powerful and the as in government bodies, they should be looking after everybody, not leaving it up to the likes of Marcus Rashford to get involved. But the fact that he's doing that is amazing, and it's great to see him. And I hope he enjoys more success. He's got a good, clean heart, and clean hearts attract success, and that's going to be in a United shirt. I can't wait to see it. Not only has he been a good guy off the pitch, but he's also been trying to be an agent for United as well, and saying he would welcome Jadon Sancho as a new teammate. Look, it's obvious these guys talk, behind closed doors and in private, and I have no doubt Jadon Sancho will know United want him, will know his friends want him to sign for United, the ones that he has at the club. Whether it happens or not remains to be seen. Now, these little tedious links are always going to happen in the press. Rashford said this, Maddison said that, because Maddison was reported as saying something positive about Maguire and Rashford and meaning that he's going to join United. It's not always the case. Players have friends that play for other teams, you know what I mean? It's not a strange thing to happen. But if we can use Rashford and Marshall and those kind of guys, Pogba, to attract the likes of Jadon Sancho to United, we'd have one hell of a player on our hands. Now, before we wrap up here on the Weekly United, and we do get to that warning for Manchester United fans, we look at this headline: revealed the Premier League's ambitious plans to resume season behind closed doors at the start of May in order to finish by the July the 12th to avoid TV contract rebates of up to £762 million. Now, we hear about them trying to do this behind closed doors. I don't know how that works. Do you know what I mean? With the way, keeping everything behind closed doors, TV personnel, media, caterers, all those kind of things, and not letting it, I don't see how you keep that behind closed doors from the beginning of May to the end of July. Do you know what I mean? They couldn't even keep Jack Grealish in his house for a weekend, but we're expecting all football clubs to keep all of their squad members, staff, caterers, all these people. I don't know why I keep saying caterers, but all these people on their wage bill, the TV companies. We expect to keep all these people behind closed doors, but Jack Grealish can't even stay in on a weekend. I just don't see how it's going to happen, but money will play a big factor in these decision makings, and missing out on TV money. And that kind of goes hand in hand with what I'm going to say next and the warning that I have got for Manchester United fans. And if you look at United Daily this week, we've been looking at loads of different stories that have been popping up in the press, and I've been having to knock back story after story after story saying this one ain't going to happen, this one ain't going to happen. The ones that I feel might happen, Jadon Sancho and Jack Grealish. But beyond that, I'm very sceptical about any transfer deal. And my warning to you guys is, it's going to be a quiet few months. The press are going to be making up all sorts. Just this week alone, we've been linked to Saul Niguez, Erling Haaland, fucking Thomas Partey, this, that, the other, Cristiano Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, all the usual suspects. In the summer, don't be surprised if, even before this coronavirus thing kicked off and football was getting cancelled, but don't be surprised if we just signed Sancho, which would be great, and maybe one more, and Igalo on a permanent. We're not going to be making wholesale changes. We're not going to be making 200, 300, 400 million pounds worth of signings. It's not going to happen. No matter how much these guys in the press want you to believe we're going to spunk 130 odd million on Saul Niguez, it's not going to happen. And if Paul Pogba stays, it's definitely not going to happen. We might not even get Jack Grealish then. And we might just see Sancho and Igalo be the only two signings and maybe a squad player here or there. I'm not against Pogba staying at all. I'm not saying that. But that might be the case. And we just need to be a little bit realistic heading into this time. Because the time of transfers can be up and down and a roller coaster and you get all disappointed and all that. And I think we just have to be a little bit sceptical. I'd be disappointed if we didn't sign Sancho or Grealish or Igalo on a permanent deal. But beyond that, don't expect too much. Don't expect wholesale changes at United because it's just not going to happen. Koulibaly being linked, Ligt being linked. It's not happening. That's my warning to you guys. And I've also got another warning. Daily content here on AdamMcKola TV. We've got so much going on. United Daily Live is live every single day and sometimes twice daily. And then alongside that, we have another piece of content uploaded. On Monday, it's the Gazette. On Tuesday, it was... What was it on Tuesday? How could I forget what it was on Tuesday? So on Monday, it was the Gazette. On Tuesday, it is... I've got it here. Rumorator. On Wednesday, it is Master Debaters, which is like a 3 in 3 out. The 5-a-side fantasy draft. Thursday, Weekly United. Friday, straight up MUFC. Saturday, we'll have streaming Saturdays. And Sunday, I'm working on something which is going to be a regular feature and might be the best feature on the channel ever. So make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're joining the channel as well if you can. If not, just make sure you're subbed, you're liking, you're commenting, you're sharing. And for now, I have been AdamMcKola. You lot have been absolute legends. This has been the Weekly United. And I'm out of here.